ancient wild people. The topic of today's piece of the week is Isis with wings, and she knows how to use them. Wings. You are the wind beneath my wings. This week, I'm going to be looking at a piece I carved over 10 years ago that was found last weekend on an abandoned shelf, just in the darkness. It was great to find it. It was something that I can't believe it was just lost for that period of time. It was a nice carving, and it's since become my most popular post on Instagram and Facebook for that matter. Just over 1,000 people, which is a lot for me, and I just thought we should have a look at it in some more detail. So in a way, you have chosen this week's piece of the week. And why? Why was it shelved? Why does she have wings? That's all the things we're going to cover in this video. So what was happening 10 years ago was the launch of Down Under Pharaoh, and I had many different projects in the fire, so to speak, all bubbling away and finishing at their own rate, and some inevitably get abandoned, and exactly what happened with this piece. And I don't know why. I mean, it's a nice piece. So, where did this winged concept begin? It's a common theme in different cultures. Angels, Anunnaki, the genies of Nimrod. But I think it all comes back to Egypt in the Neolithic period, the pre-dynastic period. Because you have these images of bird women. Their arms are up like this, and they've often got bird-shaped faces. If you saw the Dogu video a couple of weeks ago, you have these goddess-like figures that just seem to happen all over the world. It's an amazing occurrence. So this bird woman was a very popular subject in the pre-dynastic and Neolithic times. She was etched into the walls of rocks, just petroglyphs on pottery of the time, everywhere, dancing on the prows of boats, groups of them sometimes. Were they deities themselves? They were. They probably were. Proto-deities. Before the evolution of the culture itself and the development of writing and the formation of detailed mythologies, created Isis, Nephthys, born from Nut the sky, or Nut as she's known, also a winged goddess. And as history rolled on, sometimes Isis and Nephthys could be shown as the birds themselves, the kestrel, or the kite, or the raptor, the most common falcon in Egypt, wailed and screeched as if they were mourning the loss of Osiris. That's how it's often been noted in the books, is the sound of these birds. It's like wailing women looking for their lost lover, Osiris, the husband. And also the swallow is associated with Isis. But the kestrel and the kite, well, they could be quite vicious birds, and most excellent hunters with their sharp eyes. But they also made the most of carrion and their association with the dead bodies of animals perhaps linked it to Isis, the way she went up and down the Nile searching for the different body parts of Osiris to put him back together for revivification, so she could have a one-night stand and create Horus inside her. Food for thought there.
Well, actually, I'm not very hungry.
Okay then.
Yes, good evening. Well, I've got a question. Why birds in the first place? Why are they so fascinated with them?
Thank you, Beryl, for your question. Where did you come from? Birds were so important as a point of interest for the ancient population themselves. I mean, so many different deities are associated with birds. They were the entertainment pre-mythology. By observing the individual natures of the birds, and all animals for that matter, they could overlay different parts of the human psyche into creating a deity. Like the ibis, god of wisdom and writing, not just because of the stylus of its beak, but it was a very smart bird. It knew how to survive.
I see. Well, thank you very much, Cameron. Could you please tell me a little bit more about unfurled wings?
Now, the wings outstretched generally denote protection. That's the protective pose. So whenever they're in that form, that's protection. Now you see it linked in with the disk of the sun itself in front of temple entranceways. It's a protection symbol. Even the scarab could be shown with avian wings to boost its potency as a protection amulet. On coffins, you see the wings outstretched, protecting the mummy. It's all linked in with Osiris and Isis, the myth. But there is another pose of the wings when they're front on, straight on, in an embrace. The word sekhen means embrace, and that is based on the wings of Isis, protecting Osiris in them. Now I have a statue of that here. Unfortunately, it's already been packed because I didn't know I was going to be doing this video about the winged aspect of Isis. She's not always wearing wings. I mean, having wings, she's mostly not. And she has two different headdresses that she sports. The throne headdress, as in this carving, and the horned sun disk of Hathor that she has absorbed for particularly the later part of history, on top of Amodius. But yes, I will show you what that statue looks like. I have a picture of the original that this one I have here is based upon. And as you can see, the wings of Isis are neatly and symmetrically enveloping Osiris in the utmost of not only protection, but an embrace as well. Because she was a god of love as well, motherhood and caring and magic. She wasn't the only goddess to have wings, but she's certainly the most famous to sport the wings in a protective stance. It's a harmonious design. So yes, I no doubt put it in the shelf and forgot about it, among many other pieces, only to be revealed this last weekend. And oh, I love it. And I think you do too, because I've had so many messages about it, and yes, I will bring it into being so that we can all have one. They'll be all a little bit different, of course, and I want to do some painted or aged, ancient looking. Or even gold may be an option, because the original, where I drew the design from for inspiration, was at the foot of Tutankhamun's innermost gold coffin. It shows the goddess in exactly the same pose, and I've matched all of the hieroglyphs. I've given it a little bit more sculptural definition. I've given it my particular style of carving, and as you can see, it's quite voluminous. And it's very nice to touch, to run your hand over it. It's very nice and smooth, and you can feel the hieroglyphs underneath your fingertips. Almost like Braille. Egyptian Braille. I wonder if they ever invented that. Oh, I wonder. I mean, you would have to think, wouldn't you, that there would be intelligent blind people being told that this particular shape is the water symbol, or this is the bird. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is practical discovery right here down in Pharaoh. Egyptians invented Braille. Yay. I was blind, but now I can see. And just for the sheer tub-thumping majesty of it all, this slab is outside waiting for transport. It is a almost meter square slab that was carved 20 years ago and is aging very nicely indeed. Obviously topical, as two winged goddesses are present. Isis, the throne headdress on her head, and the other, Maat. The name of Nefertari there in the cartouche, and the sky glyph spreading right across the entire scene. This was carved for his cat, Tadju Kippa, and her name is carved into the other cartouche, which you will see. There's the goddess Maat with a feather in her headdress. And right over here is a bit of mold, and there we have the Nefertari cartouche again. Tips of wings, another massive cartouche of Nefertari, the vulture and the feather and the Nefer symbol. Whoops, we haven't got time to go through that. This camera is going wild. What a masterpiece. Okay, it's time to touch it and feel the texture of the goddesses.
Oh, wow.
yes.
It's
Oh, yes.
really, really
feel it.
crunchy.
It is very, very
Well,
nice.
it's like stone, isn't it? But it is stone.
Feel
my
those
heart.
hieroglyphs. Like Braille, as he said. Well, I may be blind, but I can see wonders here. Oh, yeah! Okay, so that's this week's Piece of the Week. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and hit the notification bell if you want to hear some more videos or see them if you have eyeballs. Bye.
I wonder what's next.